Hello everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at this Philips 75 watt spotlight bulb. Now this is a very interesting bulb because of the shape. Have you ever seen a spot or floodlight bulb shaped like this? I don't think Philips made these for too long, at least in this design. This is I'm not sure what they were trying to do here to be real honest, but an early version of this bulb. There were later versions where they kind of thinned out the neck and it still had this similar shape, but it didn't look anything like this one that we're going to take a look at here today. Now, I had one of these bulbs way back in the day when they first came out. I remember picking it up at the local hardware store back in the day, and it was a 35 watt version. This one, as you can see, is 75 watt, and I'm sure the most common was 50. I haven't seen one of these in a 75 watt before. I have stumbled across a 100 watt version at one point. I think there's a video on the channel, not of this specific bulb, but a 100 watt version of the R20. So if we take a look at the etch here, we'll get some more information. We got Philips 75 watt with a 25-degree beam, 0M for the date code, made in Holland, 120 volt. It's their spot line, RM19 in shape. And this shape is most certainly unique. Just look at it. You kind of have a mushroom shape here at the top. You have a widened neck on the bulb, but then it has this like tight, collar on it. It's just so unique. I'm not sure what the idea was here, if they needed this extra volume for heat or something, or why the top of the bulb is shaped this way. Very interesting design. If you know anything about why it was made like this, leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to learn more. So let's compare it to its closest counterpart here, a standard R20 flood and spotlight bulb. So if we take a look at the top here, this is an RM19, so it's ever so slightly smaller in diameter, but it's pretty much a direct replacement. This is a nice vintage offering of the GE spotlight bulb. It has a nice C-shaped filament in there. There's a video of it on the channel. But a very American style here compared to the Philips style. Okay, let's take a little bit of a closer look inside. We can see that the reflective surface kind of comes up a little bit, trapping, it doesn't go right to the edge here, it comes up. It traps some of that area in there, and that must be to help narrow down the beam. But you can see inside we have what appears to be a coil filament, and one support in the middle. So we do have some type of support in there, and it's just a horizontal filament. It's kind of hard to see. From the bottom, maybe you can get a better view of it right there. You got the one support in the middle. Let's try looking at it from this side. Yeah, it's not exactly centered, is it? No heat shield present here either. So I wonder if they have some type of gas fill in here, and again, that's why this area is a little bigger to help dissipate the heat. Just a really cool design. Okay, enough talking about the design itself. Let's go ahead and put it into our socket here and get it turned on. So we're currently at 119 volts. There we go, 75 watts of spotlight. 0.62 amps, 73.6 watts, so not exactly 75, and of course a power factor of 1. It is incandescent after all. So let's go ahead and turn off our main lights here. And I'm going to hold it 2 feet away from our surface here, and it lights it up really nicely. But let's go ahead and use our fancy meter here to get some more information. So I did measure a point up above here where I can hold the filament light source right at 2 feet. So let me get this cord out of the way, and I'm going to hold it right at the 2 feet mark for the meter here. Let's go ahead and get a reading. There we go. And we'll take a look at that here in a minute. But let's just set it aside and take a closer look at the bulb. So there's our etch again, and a view of the filament inside. Yeah, most certainly directs a lot of light directly out, as you can see. I mean, there's a lot of dark areas here, but when you look directly on, They are directing the light very nicely. Okay, let's go ahead and put it on our Variac. So let's turn it off. And we'll move on over to the Variac. Plug it into it here. And I'm going to plug the Variac itself in, because if I have it plugged in all the time, it's going to make a lot of buzzing, and that's a little annoying. Okay, so before I forget, let me save what we took a look at earlier into the memory of the device here. It's saved as number 34. And we'll take another reading when we get it dimmed down, just see what we get. Maybe there's something different. Okay, we'll turn off our main light here again. And let's go ahead and dim it down. We're currently 120, 110. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at it wrong. Let me bring it back to 120. I have a different arrow on this thing to get a more accurate reading. So this is 120, excuse me. 110, 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, we're getting into that nice dim range, 30, 20, that's pretty cool to look at, and 10. Oh, it goes out at 10. So there we get it. We barely get a glow. Where do we barely get a glow here? At about 13, 14 volts. So let's bring it back up to 50 volts here. And we'll set our meter in the center. Let me hold it back up at our spot for 2 feet. Let's get another reading. There we go. We'll save that. And again, we'll take a look at it here in just a second. Even though the filament is off-centered, it still does a great job directing the light, it seems. I'm sure it would have worked better if it was exactly centered, because you can kind of see it wants to direct it here, which is at a slightly different angle than if it was in the center. Yeah, that most certainly does affect its brightness. I mean, you can see there an area where, you know, it's not reflecting directly out where it should. It's just reflecting in a different direction. So you kind of have to hold it like this to get the best beam. Very interesting. Absolutely love this bulb design. Okay, let's turn it off here. And let's take a look at our readings. So, I'll put them on the screen here for you. Let's first take a look at the spectrum of the bulb at full brightness. And then we'll take a look at the CRI of the bulb at full brightness. And now let's take a look at the bulb at 50 volts and the bulb at 50 volts with the CRI. Very cool. Okay. Very neat device. I'm sure that gave it just a little bit of time to cool down. There it is, our very unique Philips 75 watt R20 replacement. It's a RM19 spotlight bulb. Super happy to have found one of these since I do not have the original one I got back in the day anymore. Very cool. Got to put this one on display somewhere. As always, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, be sure to give it a like down below and leave a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more great videos like this one. Also check out my secondary channel Merkove and subscribe over there for more behind the scenes and alternative content. Of course, check out the other videos here on this screen, and as always, thank you very much for watching.